Hello students, I am Mohammad Azif, an assistant teacher of Oriental Public School, Kishanganj. Today I present here with a tutorial video, and today the topic of my lesson is active and passive voice. Students, let's start the chapter active and passive voice. Let me tell you first of all that voice is having two different definitions in two different streams. In science, the sound that we make with our mouth and throat when we speak and sing is known as voice. But in grammar, a verb form that shows whether the subject of a sentence does or receives the action of the verb is called voice. Voice is of two types, active and passive. Let's take a look at the definition of active voice. Sentences in which the subject performs the action and the object receives it are said to be in the active voice. As for example, Rita cut the cake, they sang a song. Move on to the second definition of passive voice, which is when the subject verb in a sentence shows that the subject is not the doer of the action, the sentence is in the passive voice. As for example, the cake was cut by Rita, a song was sung by them. Passive voice is commonly used in formal writing. It is used while writing scientific reports, writing headlines and advertisements, writing formal notices or making announcements, and writing newspaper reports. There are certain rules which we have to follow while changing active voice to passive voice. These are the 4 points. Very first point is interchange of position, subject to object and object to subject. Maintain subject verb agreement, which is also known as syntax in some grammar book. Main verb will always be in V3 form. Object of the passive voice will be followed with by or to. If we move on further, we'll take a look of the structure of active and passive voice in different tenses. First of all, if we start with present tense, the first form of present tense is simple present tense, and the structure of simple present tense in active voice is subject plus main verb in V1 or in V5 plus object. In passive voice, subject plus is or are plus main verb in V3 plus object. If we talk about present continuous tense, the structure of present continuous tense in active voice is subject plus is or are or am plus main verb in V4 plus object. But the structure in passive voice is subject plus is or are or am plus being plus main verb in V3 plus object. If we move on further, in present perfect tense, the structure in active voice is subject plus has or have plus main verb in V3 plus object. In passive voice, the structure of present perfect tense is subject plus has or have plus been plus main verb in V3 plus object. If we talk about the very last form of present tense, which is present perfect continuous tense, the structure in active voice is subject plus has or have plus been plus main verb in V4 plus object. But in passive voice, the structure of present perfect tense will not change. Move on to the second type of tense, which is past tense, and the very first form of past tense is simple past tense. The structure in active voice of simple past tense is subject plus main verb in V2 plus object, and the structure in passive voice of simple past tense is subject plus was or were plus main verb in V3 plus object. Let's move on to the second form of past tense, which is past continuous tense. The structure in active voice is subject plus was or were plus main verb in V4 plus object. And the structure in passive voice of past continuous tense is subject plus was or were plus being plus main verb in V3 plus object. The third form of past tense is past perfect tense. The structure in active voice is subject plus had plus main verb in V3 plus object. But the structure in passive voice of past perfect tense is subject plus had plus been plus main verb in V3 plus object. If we move on to the last form of past tense, which is past perfect continuous tense, the structure in active voice is subject plus had plus been plus main verb in V4 plus object. But in passive voice, there will not be any change in past perfect continuous tense. Now, if we talk about the last kind of tense, which is future tense, and the very first form of tense of future tense is simple future tense. The structure of simple future tense in active voice is subject plus will plus main verb in V1 plus object. But in passive voice, the structure is subject plus will plus be plus main verb in V3 plus object. If we talk about future continuous tense, the structure in active voice is subject plus will plus be plus main verb in V4 plus object. There will not be any change of passive voice in future continuous tense. If we talk about the third form of future tense, which is future perfect tense, the structure in active voice is subject plus will plus have plus main verb in V3 plus object. But in passive voice, the structure of future perfect tense is subject plus will plus have plus been plus main verb in V3 plus object. Now, if we talk about the very last form of future tense, which is future perfect continuous tense, the structure of future perfect continuous tense in active voice is subject plus will plus have plus been plus main verb in V4 plus object. There will not be any change in passive voice of future perfect continuous tense. Thank you.